Welcome to the Crusaders. We're the news magazine that's on your side.
This week, we're giving you life-saving answers when you're terrorized by domestic violence.
And the O.J. Simpson story is gripping a nation.
He just drove up again.
We've gone behind the headlines and heard the victims.
We wait day in and day out.
Being slammed against the wall.
Now we confront their abusers.
It's hard for me to even talk about it.
Our continuing crusade to give you answers when you're defending your life.
OJ, could you please?
And now, from our newsroom in Los Angeles, the Crusaders with senior reporters Howard Thompson and Carla Wohl.
Thanks for being with us. In a moment, we fight to protect you from the newest car ripoff. But first, we continue our crusade to give you answers when violence strikes at home.
TV coverage constantly reminds us of the American hero O.J. Simpson, who stands accused of brutally murdering his wife. But this drama is being played out in other courtrooms across the country because domestic violence kills 4,000 women every year. Last week, we began a crusade to help stop domestic abuse. We heard the chilling testimony from victimized women. This week, you'll hear something you probably never heard before, the voices of men who batter. Reporter Michelle Gillen continues our crusade to find answers when you're defending your life.
Just stay on the line, okay?
With O.J. Simpson's voice raging in the background, Nicole Brown Simpson calls for help. You probably hear a woman terrified at the hands of an intimidating bully of a man. But incredibly, that's not how everyone sees it or hears it.
What I heard was a man who was scared, extremely frightened, that he was losing control of the situation.
I've felt that fear inside of me. You start feeling the fear of she's not gonna like me, she's not gonna love me, she doesn't see things my way, she's gonna find someone else that does.
These men may be your neighbors. They are batterers, men who beat, emotionally abuse the women who love them.
You know, all I can hear is a very threatened man. And
you hear a threatened man. He's doing the threatening. How is he a threatened man?
That's what I hear him. You just hear the voice. You know, you hear these arguments between married people all the time.
This week in our crusade to help the victims of domestic violence, the women, we raise the curtain on the nightmares they live by entering the world and the minds of the men. These men, all in a unique Southern California counseling program, were willing to talk with us to help lift the veil and let battered women know how the enemy thinks and acts.
And then I grabbed her by the arms, I threw her down in the bathtub, put my hands around her neck, and threatened to kill her.
Jeff says everyone thought he was the all-American husband.
At the time, the way that I was thinking is I loved her so much that I would do anything to keep her.
Even kill her, possibly?
Possibly.
Art says the violence graduated, that his fiancée could never predict what would set him off.
She didn't answer something that I wanted it answered the way I thought it should be answered, and I smacked her.
You smacked?
Smacked her, hit her, not smacked her.
We showed the man the videotape of the battered women you met on the Crusaders last week.
They're like a caged up animal that's just been let loose and they're out for blood.
How many times have you hit her?
Oh, geez. 20, 30.
Eerily, it seemed like they had been married to each other.
And he wanted to have sex, and I told him no. And that's when he went off on me and said, they're going to carry you out of here.
We would be in a fight, and I wouldn't force myself sexually on her, but I know that she didn't want to have sex.
And did
but
you go ahead?
I'd do it out of spite. Straight out of spite. Not because I really wanted to have sex, but just because I knew she didn't.
What should a woman not do? Or what should a woman do?
Don't let the control take you over. I mean, don't let the other person try to control you, and don't try to fix the other person. That's really important. As long as you're trying to fix the other person, you're going to make them angrier and angrier and drive them more and more at you.
Did your loved one ever say to you, I'm going to call the police?
Yeah, and I pulled the phone out of the wall.
It didn't deter you, the threat?
No, it got me angrier.
No woman has been battered was smacked the day after they started dating. He's been testing the waters, and women have to understand they have allowed him to step into those waters and go deeper and deeper and deeper. And they need, like I said, they need to listen to those real insignificant signs in the very beginning and get out then.
Listen to this checklist prepared by psychologists to gauge how much risk you might be in.
1, calls you names, body parts, or animals.
Stupid.
Swear
fat,
words.
Bitch.
Blames you for perceived injuries to yourself.
You never face up to it.
Right. Is unwilling to turn you loose. What does that mean?
Control.
The behavior of these men, it's changing because of these therapists. Alice LaViolette and Bill Harris run the Alternatives to Violence program.
Can a batterer stop without intervention, without help?
I haven't seen it. I've seen some white knuckle stopping. I'm going to stop it or else type thing. Usually doesn't last too long.
What needs to happen nationwide? You can get help.
Our crusade continues with getting the word out that help is available to women and now to men. We launched our crusade on talk radio. This week, over 100 more cities joined our crusade, thanks to noted nationally syndicated talk show host Jim Hightower. He talked with us from his studio in Austin, Texas.
Well, I will do everything that I can on this issue, including, of course, talking about it. I know men who have done this. We all know about this. And
yes.
It's been a little, well, I'm sad to say, I think it's been America's most popular participatory sport. And now we finally are getting that thing out of the closet so we can address it for what it is, which is brutality.
Yes. And one number I want to give out that I know you're going to be giving out, and this is to reach out to men. It is called Amend. This is a group that you can call from anywhere in the country, and they'll help direct you to find help in your community. And that number is 303-832-6363.
Well, it is a crusade, and we've all got to become a part of this. Thanks, Michelle.
Everyone agrees the #1 advice for women is get out and get help. Yet all these men are still either living with or now dating their once abused mates. Their women did not leave. These men are getting help. But still.
Do you think if you were her, you would date you now?
God, I don't know. I don't know. No.
Not one of the men you saw was ever arrested for battering. Whenever the police were called, they say they were able to talk their way out. Only after their partners threatened to leave them did they finally seek help. If you or someone you know has a problem with domestic violence or you need a safe shelter, we'll have phone numbers for you at the end of the program. And we will continue our crusade in the coming weeks. Carla?
Thank you, Michelle. The Crusaders will be back in just a moment.
Here's what's coming up next week on The Crusaders.
On the next Crusaders, domestic violence. It happens once every 15 seconds.
911 emergency.
Can you get someone over here now?
But if you think the abuser will get what he deserves, you're in for a shock.
And when I came back with the police, they said get a restraining order, or I stayed there and tried to endure it.
Our crusade to find out why the system fails. The Crusaders, making a difference for you.
Thanks for being with us. And remember, we all have the power to make a contribution, to make a difference.
We promise to continue our crusade. We hope you'll join us. I'm Howard Thompson.
And I'm Carla Wohl. We leave you this week with Martina McBride's new video tribute to battered women. It's called Independence Day. We'll see you next week.
If you know a man who has problems with domestic violence and would like to seek counseling, contact Amend at 303-832-6363. If you or someone you know is a victim of domestic violence, you can find the shelter in your area by calling 800-879-6682. And if you'd like to reach us to share a story or some comments of your own, send a fax to 818-841-6500 or call us at 818-982-3900.
If you wish to purchase a copy of this program, please send $6 for a transcript or $29.95 for a videotape to Burrell's Transcripts, P.O. Box 7, Livingston, New Jersey, 07039-0007. For credit card orders, please call 1-800-777-TEXT.